Joining us now to tell us if she thinks it could be the turning point, talkSPORT's England correspondent Faye Carruthers. Hi, Faye.
Hello.
Morning, Faye. Morning, Faye.
Steve had a proper good rant. I'll tell you one thing he was wrong about, though. Whatever people think about Gareth Southgate, he said he doesn't care. He does care, doesn't he? I think he cares very, very deeply.
I think they all do. And I think that's been part of the problem, actually, in this tournament, is that they all care so much. They're trying too hard. We don't have the kind of same camaraderie coming into this tournament that maybe we've had in previous tournaments, because there's so many new players. So half the team haven't been to a major tournament with England. So it takes a little bit of time to get those bonds and get those connections. And I feel like this week they'd started to do that, and I was absolutely convinced, and I said I would get rinsed for it if I was wrong, that it was going to be a brilliant performance and things were going to click. It didn't. But ultimately, in a tournament like this, you have to sit there and think, if we've got to this point not playing well and not clicking, we could potentially go on and win it. And so I'm still really optimistic, despite having watched, 4 pretty poor England performances, that we can still win the Euros. And certainly the players think that. When I spoke to Harry Kane last night, he was convinced about it. They know they're not playing right. They know that something isn't quite working, but they're also respectful of the sides that they've played, and that they know how to make it difficult for England.
I think a lot of frustrations, Faye, like, yes, of course, it's about tournament football, getting through and getting to the next stage, but just these substitutions. I mean, everyone was saying, surely you're changing someone at half-time. Okay, after 10 minutes, no change. Slovakia make 2 changes when they're 1-0 up because the game isn't going the right way. We have to wait and wait and wait. Then Palmer comes on and you're like, okay, one more change, come on, let's go. Eze, 84 minutes. Ivan Toney, 93rd minute. It's just frustrating watching from a fan. I think I echoed the thoughts of a lot of fans. Make changes earlier, come on.
But had he made changes earlier, we might not be sitting here today talking about England being in a quarter-final.
But we probably would have won it in the second half.
But he would have taken off, because they looked really tired on 75 minutes, Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, our 2 goal scorers. And what he said to me post-match, I thought was exactly right. And, we don't think about it because we're England fans and we want to see them swashbuckling and, scoring goals left, right and centre. It just doesn't happen that often in a tournament. So, if you leave Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane on, they are both players who, on at the turn, can change a game, which is exactly what we saw right at the death and then right at the start of extra time. So you can't criticise him for that.
No, because the counter-argument would be that had he brought Palmer and Eze on earlier, they're players who can do exactly that as well. So you can't...
Probably would have
won.
But
they haven't done it in a major tournament.
Well, because they haven't had the chance to do it in a major tournament, yes.
Yeah, I get that.
I just think if you made the change at half-time and earlier in the second half as well, these players would have got into the game more. Look what Eze done when you come on for 5 minutes. Maybe we go and win the second half and we win 2-3-1 in the second half. It's just a frustration from every fan of like, come on, make these changes. Yes, Harry Kane scored the winner, but Watkins would have scored that. Anyone would have scored that header. Do you know what I mean? Harry Kane didn't do enough to still be on the pitch for me.
But Toney made the real difference. He made the block when that ball came in for Bellingham to be able to do his spectacular overhead kick, and he made the assist to Harry Kane at the beginning. So you could sit there and say, okay, he told me afterwards, Gareth Southgate, that Ivan Toney was looking at him like, what on earth are you doing? Why are you putting me on now? And was really annoyed with him. First appearance in a major tournament and potentially on the side that's about to get kicked out of the tournament by Slovakia. He goes on, causes chaos in the penalty box. We score, and then we go on and score in extra time. So I feel it's really difficult. And actually, Gareth Southgate said to me right at the end of the interview that I did with him, my substitutions made an impact, and that might surprise people. I think he's frustrated with everybody being really annoyed with him. 60 million England managers, aren't there? We all think we can do it.
It's an impossible job, of course it is, but people will look and say, OK, Ivan Toney has that impact then, but what if he put him on earlier? What an impact he might have had then, Ash, what do you think?
I think that's what it is. I think that's what everyone's asking for, the substitutions to come earlier. Like I said, I was in the stadium and you're looking down at half-time thinking, right, we've seen that first half performance, something's got to be changed. We need something to change at half-time. And then, like you say, Gabby just said, 10 minutes in, nothing, Slovakia make 2. Well, when are we going to start making changes? We need to make changes. You're right, Gareth did come out and say that, the substitutions did have an impact, but could there have been more of an impact earlier on in the game? Everyone could see that, we took the game to them in the first 10 minutes of the second half. If there was other substitutions that come on at that time, we won't be sitting here saying, right, we had to go to extra time. We could have been we've won it in normal time. And even I look back at the last group stage game. If Gareth was able to change a few players, I would have left Harry Kane out. I would have left Jude Bellingham out for the Slovakia game last night to have them even more fresh than what they were. Because I think you look at Jude Bellingham, he was out on his feet, and like I say, of course he could turn the game from nothing. But that's every player, I'd say, that is in the attacking third in our squad that can do that.
Faye, what do you think he's going to do? You mentioned Mark Gahey, who's been England's standout performer. I think everyone would say, during the course of this tournament. What do you think he's going to do about Gahey's absence and obviously suspended?
I mean, it's going to be a really big miss. I mean, he had a couple of shaky moments, I think, Mark, but he has been absolutely brilliant. And actually, he got the yellow card because he was sold a short pass from Kieran Trippier. So frustrating from that point of view. It wasn't as if it was a nasty challenge. He was just trying to win the ball back. But I think he might go 3 at the back. I asked him, actually, because Switzerland line up with 3 at the back. So matching them might be a good idea. I asked him that in the post-match interview that I did with him, and he said, it's a possibility. I think that is where England can really make a change, because when we played 3 at the back and we played the wing backs, when you think of the personnel that we've got, particularly if we're not going to have Luke Shaw, I think it could make a huge difference. And I do feel as if that performance last night, the manner of it, the manner of the victory, could potentially be the turning point that they need.
Let's hope you're right. Let's squeeze in a very quick call, shall we? Rich is an England fan. He thinks that our previous caller, Steve, went well over the top. Oh, Rich, how could you think that?
I just want some clarity more than anything. I think Steve, he's the epiphany of every England fan, and the passion that comes through. We're all feeling that, right? But Gabby and Ash, they're going to know. These players are listening to this, yeah? Just a bit of positivity, yeah? Look, what will be after the tournament, but let's get behind this team, yeah? It ain't great, it's getting better, and I think Faye made some really, really good points with, the substitutions and the way Ivan affected the game. But let's be positive. Yeah, we've got a chance at this, and there's a lot of negativity, and that's filtering through to the team. And we're all passionate. We all want them to do well. And maybe this is the kickstart. But let's be a bit more positive, keep that passion, and let's go for this. Let's go and win this thing.
Rich, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for that positivity. There he goes on your side, Faye.
Good. I feel like I'm a lone voice sometimes at talkSPORT. But honestly, I'm in there at the coalface, if you like. I'm seeing the players every day. You can't fake a lot of the stuff that they're doing. They do believe that they can go on. They know it's not been good enough so far. But ultimately, if we win the European Championships, nobody is going to care or remember how dreadful the past 4 games have been.
OK. Faye, thanks very much indeed. Let's hope you're right. That positivity is brilliant to hear. If we win the European Championships, if we don't, there are going to be some sort of post-mortem, that is for sure. Thanks, Faye. Find out next if Dan Ashworth will be allowed to do deals at Manchester United immediately.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.